Well, welcome everyone for Mapillary for Organization webinar. And today I'm joined by Chad, Marcy, and Ryan Lopez today. If you can go to the next slide, Chad. I just want to quickly introduce um, your host today, and then that's VR. So I'm Said. I'm a project manager at Meta's open mapping team. I'm looking after overall our open mapping community effort. And then today I'm joined by Marcy. Marcy, you want to go introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Marcy. I am a community manager at Mapillary, based out of Boston.
And I'm Chad. I'm a geographer working on the maps team at Meta with a focus on OpenStreetMap and open data.
Awesome. Ryan?
Yep, I am Ryan Lopez. I'm a senior information technology analyst with Fresno County's Department of Public Works and Planning. A long one.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan, for joining us today. So this is our agenda for today. I'm going to cover maps at Meta and what we are doing, why we are doing, and then what are the tools we are maintaining for OpenStreetMap community as well as other open mapping communities. And Marcy will be covering Mapillary introduction. Chad will talk about some of the use cases where our community utilize Mapillary. Then Ryan will be sharing his and his organization's experience at Fresno County, how street level imagery has been important tool for them to solve their problems. Yeah, let's start with Maps at Meta. So Meta uses open data to build maps and works with partners to improve them for everyone, whatever we are building and we are sharing with publicly with the community. So we are improving maps in the open, which means that we are doing our edits on OpenStreetMap directly and then making sure that we are running quality checks and then we are fixing OSM data straight on OSM. We are supporting maps in the community, which means that we are building tools which helps OpenStreetMap community to improve maps, such as Mapillary and rapid editing tool. We have also two plugin which we are maintaining, Mapillary plugin, as well as Map with AI plugin for GeoSM. And we are displaying maps in the wild. We are serving more than 3 billion people, which is basically like really wild to serve this amount of user. And all of this data comes from OpenStreetMap as well as other open data sources and other commercial data providers. You may be wondering like why Meta is building maps. So Meta is basically partner organization of different products, including Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, Workplace, and all other like virtual reality and mixed reality tools like Oculus. And then we are serving more than 3 billion people. And then we have daily active users more than 3 billion for Facebook, 2 billion users on Instagram and WhatsApp. And our apps needs maps in different surfaces. At the moment, like 42 different surface on Meta product use maps. And then we are working on providing the best quality of maps for our users. And here you can see like different surfaces such Facebook pages, Instagram discovery, and also like recommendation feature on Facebook and crisis response feature again on the Facebook app. Whenever like there's a crisis anywhere, you can mark yourself as safe. And then here, all the maps you are seeing on the background, which are relying on OpenStreetMap data, and we are using our different styling for different products. And then in Brazil and India, we are providing some of the map services in WhatsApp Business. Beyond the 2D maps, we are also working on bringing digital and physical world closer together. And we believe that digital world and physical world will be more intervene upcoming years. And we are working on building experiences around how we can connect digital and physical world together by understanding our surrounding and giving like reminders to the users or navigating yourself by using some of the AR, VR devices. We also work on like building photorealistic digital model of the world. You can see here community capture drone and then street level imagery. And if you search like mapillary.com/app and zoom into Switzerland, you will see like this beautiful nerve generated from community capture imagery, and you can play around with this data. So whatever you're seeing here, it's actually like just 3D reconstructed nerve, um, which looks pretty awesome. And then we are looking for ways how we can bring this experience to our users to make further analytics or geospatial analysis to solve their 3D problems. You can go next. Why we're doing this, we are using heavily OpenStreetMap data. OpenStreetMap is a huge project which started like 20 years ago, and it's excellent. And our team is putting a lot of time and energy how we can make this project more excellent. We are supporting like OSM Foundation. We are working with OpenStreetMap US, and we are a strategic partner for OSM US to make OpenStreetMap project to go next level. And we are supporting to have more edits for OSM, better quality edits, and also growing OpenStreetMap editing community. And I want to talk a little bit about how we build maps in this part of this presentation. So we are using OpenStreetMap, and we have Mapillary, which is the second icon. We have more than 2.4 billion imagery, which Marcy is going to talk about more. And we also work closer with the open mapping communities in different parts of the world to map directly on OpenStreetMap. We also generate map data by using our computer vision and machine learning algorithm, both from street level imagery as well as aerial imagery. If we can go next slide, we use iterative data and crowdsource data and machine learning data, and then conflate all of this data and putting on the top of OSM data, and then surfacing them on our family of apps and AR, VR products. This is quite simplistic approach. And if you want to go more complicated, you can see different component of our map data sources. Most of the data coming from OSM. On the top of OSM, we use property data, element boundaries, and then user generated like map reports. And then we are using open data such as LiDAR, addresses, and building footprints. And whatever we are generating from aerial imagery, and we are also ingesting them to OpenStreetMap with community validation. We are using some of the micro-tasking tools such as MapRoulette. We are also supporting a tiling service which is called Mapillary, and also another tool for understanding quality of edits, which is OSM. We are funding such projects. And then we are part of Overture Maps, where we basically build curated version for open maps. All right, I will hand over to Marcy for continuing with Mapillary introduction.
Thanks, Saeed. Hi again, everybody. So I'm here to talk about Mapillary and how you can get started with it and what really is Mapillary. So next slide. And then next slide. So Mapillary is a platform for street level imagery powered by collaboration and computer vision. We have to date over 2.4 billion images from across the world, all of which were crowdsourced by numerous organizations, individual contributors, hobbyists, all over the world. So how does Mapillary work? It starts by capturing your own imagery. Next slide, please. So anybody can contribute to Mapillary with really any device you might have. So next slide, please. You can capture with a smartphone, an action cam, a dash cam, a 360 cam. We make smartphone apps, so our mobile apps make it easy to capture imagery just from your phone and upload it straight there. We offer action camera support, dash camera support, and 360 camera support. Most notably, the GoPro Max. That is our favorite camera, the one we recommend the most, especially for organizations. It is a 360-degree camera, so you can get coverage in your direction of motion and then also behind you, which makes it super convenient for people who are interested in capturing roadways. You don't have to capture a street twice. So that is our favorite camera there. Next, you got to upload the imagery. So uploading the imagery can be done through a number of ways. We have a desktop uploader, which is our convenient desktop GUI, which makes it really easy to upload files directly from your computer. All you have to do, as you can see there, is just drag and drop a file. We'll do some processing on our end, and you can see your upload or the imagery before you upload it. We actually just released a couple months ago a feature that allows you to actually adjust the points. So that's really helpful if you have bad GPS data. Maybe when you're going under a bridge, you're able to drag and correct those points if you'd like. We also offer stuff like compass, angle interpolation. You can change an offset if you'd like. But yeah, the desktop uploader makes it super quick to upload bulk imagery. Next, we have Mapillary tools for the command line. That's another popular option for folks, especially those who are more developer savvy. So some of our organizational users prefer that for this reason. They can kind of customize their approach to uploading to Mapillary. It's on GitHub, so you can, fork the repo and, build off of it from there. We see people integrating Mapillary tools into workflows for automations to kind of streamline bulk uploads. And then once you've uploaded, you get to browse your imagery. So normally, imagery will take about 24 to 48 hours to fully process, and then you can view it on our web app or on our mobile apps. Next slide. So viewing your organization's imagery on the web app is super simple. All you need to do is just navigate to the area that you captured. We have filters available that allow you to filter out just your organization's imagery. You can also filter by date. You can apply a date range. So if you're interested in imagery that was, fresh, maybe the last month, or if you want to look at a more historic view, you can filter through older imagery. And you can also filter by username. So if you were interested in a capture made by a specific user, you have the ability to filter that out as well. Next slide. And then, once you have, looked at your imagery, what can you do with it? So we offer several different ways that you can turn Mapillary imagery that you upload into real insights and real data to use for your organization. So I'll tell you how to implement it. Next slide, please. So we have two main data types that we extract from Mapillary imagery. The first of which is object detections. So you can think of an object detection as a grouping of pixels in a photo believed to be a part of the same object. So if you see that image there, you can see all the cars are blue, all the greenery is green, the people are colored in red. That's what an object detection is. We create these via semantic segmentation on the imagery. So every image that's uploaded to Mapillary gets processed and has semantic segmentation run against it. We have 150 plus object detections available to query, download, whatever you want to do with them with the Mapillary API. So we see this as a really popular thing, especially for research applications or just organizational use. if you're interested in, hey, like where was this stop sign? What images had them? You can call that using our API. We make it super easy to grab the features or specific objects that you care about. Next slide. We also have map features. So these are really popular for our folks who are interested in asset management or our GIS organizational users. So we offer 40 plus different object types and over 1,500 street sign classes. So our street sign classes have been trained on signs from all over the world, and we cover signs, spanning a number of use cases from anything like a simple stop sign all the way to like bike lane markings and stuff like that. So map features, they're generated via matching object detections across 3 images. So how that works is if you have 3 different images that all see the same stop sign, we're able to triangulate the position of said stop sign by using the coordinates of those existing images and predicting where, the depth at which the stop sign was detected. So yeah, map features are super awesome for asset management. It really enables a lot of communities or organizations to get a good sense of where things are in their community just by uploading Mapillary imagery. So to download the map data, we make it really easy to do that right on our web app. All you have to do is, apply a filter for the data you're interested in, whether it be traffic signs or points. And then we have a download button. You just click download. You'll just get a GeoJSON file and you can implement that into whatever you're working on. It's as simple as that. We also offer more advanced ways to work with our data through Mapillary for developers. So we actually have quite a few ways to work with our data. The Mapillary API is the biggest. We offer a number of endpoints to call various different features. We offer endpoints for map features, for images, for object detections. So really any sort of data you're interested in that Mapillary generates, you can pull in through the API directly. We also offer Mapillary.js, which is a JavaScript library that allows you to create your own street level imagery viewer in your own web app. So similar to what we have in the Mapillary web app, you can customize that and enable a Mapillary street level imagery view within your own application. We also offer coverage tiles. Oop, go back, please. We also offer coverage tiles. So if you're interested in embedding a Mapillary coverage layer, underneath a workflow or, on a map, we make that pretty easy to do. And then we also have the Mapillary Python SDK. This was rolled out a couple years ago, I believe. And this is super, super helpful for working with Python to call Mapillary data. So we actually prefer this if you're working with Python over using the Mapillary API directly. The Python SDK is super cool because you can apply a polygon or any sort of boundary and pull all the map features or all the imagery from that boundary. So that's a super popular way to call data from if you're looking at city scale or state scale. We also have an ArcGIS Pro add-in. This is really great for our organizational users, especially those who work in a GIS role. So on the Mapillary ArcGIS Pro add-in, you can view Mapillary imagery, both as a coverage layer and also an imagery viewer itself. And then what is really special about it is that you can actually view a feature class within the imagery viewer. So if you have an existing feature class that is a layer that your county is working on, looking at stop signs, you would be able to see all the points that you have in the feature class as those red icons that you see in the image there. And you can actually drag and drop those. So if you're, using looking at the Mapillary imagery viewer and you notice that the position is offset and that the stop sign is really over there, you can just drag it to the correct place. So we see a lot of our organizational users really loving that feature. And then I've talked about Mapillary, I have explained it, and I've talked about how you can leverage it, but I guess the question now is why? Why should I leverage Mapillary? Why should I use Mapillary? So first and foremost, it's 100% free to use. We got acquired by Meta in 2020, and since then, all of our data, imagery hosting is 100% free to use at any scale. So Meta takes the costs for hosting your imagery. Um, we enable you to take SLI capture into your own hands. So what I mean by that is you might be interested with street level imagery coverage, but other methods of street level imagery might only update their database every so often. Maybe they haven't had new fresh imagery in your area for the last 5 years. With Mapillary, you can take that into your own hands and capture at the cadence that makes sense for your organization, whether that's every month, every year. We see different organizations going at different cadences. It really depends on their needs. But just the fact that you're able to go out there, strap a GoPro Max to your car and capture your own imagery, we see a lot of organizations really seeing value in that. Um, of course, the asset management is a huge plus to Mapillary, especially if you're a smaller organization, you know, versus getting a, expensive contract to capture tree level imagery from a vendor, and then getting the asset management from that. Mapillary allows you to, capture your own imagery and then generate your own asset management data. And so we see that it's a really, really great way, especially for smaller groups, to get insights to what is really around them and implement them into databases and such. Um, and then lastly, by contributing to Mapillary, you are contributing to open data and you're helping others make better maps. So everything uploaded to Mapillary is under a Creative Commons license, meaning that, the data can be used to edit things such as OpenStreetMap or be used to help create new research data sets that are applicable in like public health and, navigation. So by contributing to Mapillary, you're not just making better maps in your area or, for your needs, but you're helping others make better maps themselves. So super great. And then lastly, if you'd like to join the community, I suggest taking a screenshot of this slide if you're interested in. We have a couple links here. We have a Facebook group. We have our own forum, which is pretty active. So if you'd like to get involved there, we have a really passionate user community where you can ask a question. There's always going to be someone who responds. The Mapillary team is also active on there, so you can speak to us directly over there. We also have a Telegram group. And we also have a complete help center. So if you contact that support email there, I'll be the one who answers it, but I can help you get started with whatever you need, answer any questions you have. And I think now I'm going to pass it over to Chad.
Yep. Thanks, Marcy. Hi, everyone. I'm Chad, and I'm just going to walk through a couple use cases here before I hand it over to the star of the show, Ryan. So the first use case is B Group in Vietnam. They are a super app company. They deliver food. They have ride sharing. There's a number of technologies that they're involved with. And in order to provide the services that they do to customers, they need to have really good map data. So they've been primarily focused in the two major cities of Vietnam, Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. And what they've done to improve the map data there, and they're doing all of this in OpenStreetMap, is capture imagery and uploading it to Mapillary. And that just makes it the easiest for them in their mapping workflow to create that data and make it in a usable format for them. So how do they do this? Well, it's not overly complicated. They're using GoPro 360 cameras, just like the ones that we suggest, mounted on top of cameras of scooter drivers. So they're using scooters. They're a very efficient way to get around these dense urban areas. They can get into all the small alleys and roadways that automobiles are unable to travel, and but people do. And this is some of the places they need to go for delivery. So they've been able to use this setup right here that you're seeing to capture all the imagery for the two cities. They're using it primarily. There's three main uses. One is to identify signs that restrict vehicular traffic. So one ways or no turns, right? These are important to them. They're not very well documented anywhere else. So they're building their own database of turn restrictions. As I mentioned earlier, the road width is a big concern when trying to pick people up, particularly if you're in a automobile with four wheels. They need a certain width to get up and down some of these roads. So they're able to catalog the road width using imagery, and also place names, addresses, pickup locations. These are all very important. Getting from point A to point B for ride sharing, as well as, with like hospitals and shopping malls and these bigger areas that have multiple pickup and drop off locations. They need to know precisely where those are so they don't leave people hanging outside looking for the ride. So that's one use case of a technology company that's utilizing this. And then I'll bring you back here to Motor City, USA, Detroit, Michigan. They have been one of the longest Mapillary users, I think, of any city in the US. And you can see here, this is a clear shot of, you can see the distinct boundary of Detroit. And they've gone through, and I think, we ran the numbers, and I think Marcy did, and she's like, you have 99.9 of your streets in Detroit covered. And they're like, huh, well, tell us where that 0.01% is, because we want to go out there and capture it. Right. So they've been doing this for a very long time. They started back in 2017 using smartphones. And in 2019, they won a mayor's technology grant award, and they were able to buy a commercial grade camera. They used that for a couple years. They've since brought on 2 full-time drivers who drive around the city almost on a daily basis, capturing imagery. And most recently, General Motors gave them a grant to buy a Trimble MX-50. So this is a big, like, $1 million rig, LiDAR sensors, 3D optical, the whole nine. And so they're using that now, and they're uploading all the optical imagery that they capture to Mapillary. Well, why are they doing this? They started off with asset management. They needed to know where all their roadway markings were, where all their signs were. As you may know, Detroit was one of these cities that had a declining population, declining tax revenue for a while. So they needed to understand the condition of their signs and their roadway assets to make sure that they were putting their limited dollars towards the areas that needed it most. And it's also had a declining population. Well, this is disputed, but the Detroit's population has been declining over the last couple of years, or last couple of decades, rather. And they have actually used their photo log evidence of Mapillary imagery to dispute the 2020 census with the official 2020 census numbers of their population. And that is in the courts right now. But apparently they've been able to, such as this picture you see right here, there's a couple of vacant houses. There is a car. There's another house there. There is a car in the driveway. So they're using scenes like this to say, hey, U.S. Census, you're saying no one lives in this neighborhood, but in fact, there are cars coming and going. We think that we have more people living here than you're actually giving us credit for. So apparently there may be an uptick in population over the last couple years, or at least since 2020. That's to be determined. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Ryan.
Oh, wow. Yeah, all good stuff. City of Detroit, that's what we're aiming for. But go ahead and hit play.
Yep.
Fresno County covers over 6,000 square miles. It's home to more than 1 million people, all of which receive some type of service from the County of Fresno.
There isn't much data that the county uses that isn't a location somewhere in the county. So knowing where that location is and what things are around it that affect that particular asset or person, it's pretty critical to run government.
Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
That is me. But yeah, so I work for Fresno County Department of Public Works and Planning, and our director Steve had asked us, or asked me specifically, about if there was a way to get street level imagery out there because of how rural our county is. I think you could go to the next slide there.
Whoop.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I did a lot of videos.
It's there we go. This one?
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
so in California, Fresno kind of sits right in the middle of the state. And then when it comes to county government in the state, Fresno County actually has the most maintained mileage any other county. I have to say that because when it comes to city, LA blows us out of the water. But anyways, so a majority of our county is pretty rural, and that's important just because when it comes to other methods of street level imagery, we didn't have the frequency of data that was out there wasn't quite meeting our needs. We have a lot of people out there in our department that are using street level imagery daily to check our right of way, because like in public works, we maintain the roads and signs and all that. So Steve kind of tasked me to do with it. And then when I go about researching all these, like the different methods, like there's companies that go out and do it for you, and it's just costly. It's like they're charging like a per mile fee. And then you have to host all your own imagery, and just the cost was astronomical. But we also needed it to work with our GIS system, which is it's ArcGIS, and government is like that's the key. That's what everyone kind of uses here. But and then licensing cost, the resolution, and then privacy. So when I went out and looked, I found the solution. It was Mapillary, and for all those reasons, right? It's free, as they had mentioned. The frequency I was in control of. They already had the widgets that Marcy had showed that work with ArcGIS, both Pro, which is like the desktop version, and then also the web. They have some widgets as well, and that's WebGIS has really taken off. So Mapillary's tooling has been right there at the right time for us as well to integrate some of that street level imagery right into our maps and apps that we use here every day. And this is kind of our setup, like what they were saying. We use the same thing. We use the GoPro 360 camera, and then we've also used the windshield mounted camera with just some smartphones. That's kind of the quick and easy way to get it done. Go ahead, next slide. And this is our setup. Typically, like what we're doing right now is we're just doing it. We're mounting the 360 camera. Seems kind of weird, but we're just using the front-facing camera and using the suction camera, the suction mount to the hood of the vehicle. And then these GoPros have a mobile app that I show there on the right with me waving there. But yeah, so that gives our people the ability from within the vehicle to fire off the camera and start recording and just going about and remaining safe. And all that was just in time. I'm gonna hit play.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
The creek fire wiped out a mountain landmark 6 miles below Shaver Lake just before midnight Tuesday. Cressman's General Store has been a fixture on Highway 168 for more than a century. Jake Taney was heading up the hill and shot this video as he rolled past Cressman's. As you can see, most of it had already been reduced to ashes. Viewer
Move on
10
to the next one.
was also in the area and snapped this picture as the fire was still.
Don't have
Boy,
to play.
the creek fire wiped out.
Yeah, and then so that was the creek fire, and unfortunately in California, or the frequency of fires happens a lot for most of the state. But anyways, that was us. You want to roll it back again?
Yep.
Sorry, Chad,
Nope.
making you work. But yeah, this is us the next day with our windshield mounted cameras going up to that same location and capturing it. And that's really important now with government as well, because FEMA wants to see the results of disasters and what was destroyed. In this case, like we lost a lot of guardrails because they have like wood stacks, so showing what it was before and then after. That's critical to getting money back after a disaster for governments. Next slide.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So having said all that, I guess I'll show you guys this thing. So really, what we're kind of coming into this asset management side that we were discussing, and right now I'm really focusing just on our sign inventory, bringing that and trying to find some change detection, but using some of these tools that they just pointed out as well. I've been able to take advantage of that with some AI. But within, I'm going to share and show you what I've done here in ArcGIS Pro. It's the beginnings, so don't judge. And I'm not like a programmer, so don't judge me on that either. Let me share. Uh-oh, I'm doing exactly what I was hoping I wouldn't do. Okay. Alrighty, so this is ArcGIS Pro. The first thing I wanted to show you too is what I did is I went out to GitHub and I grabbed all of Mapillary's sprite sources, and then what I did is I created a style, the style library. I actually used a Power Automate tool to kind of go through and update all this, so I didn't have to do it manually. And then within ArcGIS Pro in the backend, they have it's like a Jupyter notebook that they've kind of made their own, but it's still a Jupyter notebook. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of run this thing, just to kind of show you. And this is going out, grabbing the a bounding box of our county area plus some, and then getting all that data, as you can see, from the graph.mapillary.com endpoint. And then it's bringing that all in. Had some checks in here, me and AI, good coding practices. And then so now all of those points are in my map. They don't quite show, but that's where I need to run my tool. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Hold on. We'll get there.
Live Esri demo.
I know. Okay. So
Anyone who's done this feels your pain, Ryan.
Yeah. That's a lot of pressure, man. I'll tell you. So it's going through that same style layer that I created is going through, and then bang, it just populated all that sign data. Now my map's populated with all of this beautiful Mapillary object detection of all the signs. I get to bring that into my asset management, and then that's kind of like where I'm at in my current process. But yeah.
Ryan, we are working on like solving this problem, just bringing like all the Mapillary Split icon straight to our add-in. So hopefully you will not need to run this the last operation you run.
Well, I did it already, Saeed. So if you need it, I'll share it with you so you can share it with everyone. But yeah, that's kind of the cool thing, and then we've used it obviously with some of our apps internally as well. But yeah, these people have been great. But yeah, I want to show that off.
Nice work.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much. Ryan, you got a question from Gregor, probably from when you're using the phone mounted on the windshield versus the 360 view, how long of a trip can you take? The reason I ask because I thought of doing the same thing with Cary, North Carolina's trash trucks.
Yeah. It's really just the amount of storage and battery that you have on the front of the camera. That's really it all comes down to. The Mapillary uploader doesn't have a limit, as far as I know, when you're uploading your imagery. And the same with the phone app too. It would probably be the best to get it onto Wi-Fi, so you're not using, cell data to do it. But yeah, it's I don't think there is a limit, right? I mean, the Mapillary people would know better than me.
Yeah, we have certain limit, but it's quite hard to hit this rate limit in order to like manage the traffic. But so far, there is limited user who could really hit this limit. Yeah, please, Gregor, reach out our support. So Marcy, Chad are happy to help you if you're planning any collection in your city. We are also working on camera grant program. We are lending some of the our GoPro Max cameras to organizations if you want to do some pilots. I think we answered this question. All right, we got some other questions. I don't know. We can get them live if everyone agrees. If you have further follow-up questions, please feel free to go to Q&A part and then ask questions. So Stefan, who is the man who mapped every street in Brussels, join us today as well. Exactly like probably a year ago, we were hosting Stefan for the webinar. Thanks joining, Stefan. So Stefan is asking, anyone needs a Mapillary project manager to coordinate Street View data collection anywhere on the earth. So if anyone needs imagery collection project manager, Stefan is offering. Thanks, Stefan. Someone else, it's not me. I mean, for some reason, there is a glitch on Zoom. Every question looks like that I'm asking, but yeah, apologizing for this glitch. We recently got 180 miles of Greenway mapped, and I didn't hit the rate limit yet. Yeah, that's further enough. You can try to hit the rate limit, but we have a workaround to unblock you. The question, I don't know who is asking, but I will just reply it here live as well. Is there option to keep your data private for organization? There got used to be a private repository for organizations, but we don't have it these days. So whatever is going to be uploaded to Mapillary, it will be available for everyone for solving any kind of like geospatial problems. All right. And if there is any further questions, I don't know if attendees can ask question live. Chad, do you know if attendees can ask question live?
I think that may have something to do with the everyone is Saeed. I can give permission.
Yeah, if you have a question, please feel free to raise hands. So. Okay, there is a great question from Walter Brawl. Any pitfalls or common errors when it comes to collecting street level imagery for those who are new to it? Chad, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I will. A couple things. GPS signal is critical. So if you have a GoPro and you put it on top of your car, give it a minute to pick up a good signal. Don't just like walk out of a building, slap it on your car and start moving around. Obviously, if you're in a dense urban area with tall buildings, you're going to get less of an accurate GPS signal. So that's something to consider. Take the lens cap off your camera. Sounds like sounds like a funny one, but it happens. I'm not gonna take credit for that. But you also want to make sure that it's mounted on your vehicle like high enough too. So you want to and maybe do some testing here. I like using the GoPro with the app on your phone because that way you can see what it's looking at. But you want to make sure that the majority of the pixels are the scene that you're trying to capture and not the roof of your car or something like that, right? And Saeed actually gave me the tip one time. If you're, driving or riding your bicycle and you want to capture features that are on the side rather than front to back, because like all your street signs and sidewalks and things are on the side, you could actually turn that 360 camera sideways so the lenses are pointing towards the features you want to capture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that actually like depends what feature you want to extract. If you are planning to extract traffic signs and they're basically like on the driving direction, so you would probably want to face all the lenses towards the traffic signs. But if you're working with like house numbers, or POI updates, so probably like having lenses towards the sides would be helpful because of the 360 cameras have some distortion on the edges, so you will notice like there some lower resolution when it comes to on the edge of the imagery. But this is a great question. Also, we have updated documentation on how to get started with Mapillary when it comes to GoPro Max. So there is a nice Help Center article. Definitely recommending to check this out. I will share the link straight on the QA part. We got one more question here from Joshalyn. Joshalyn is also a very long time contributor from Crowdsource. Hi, Joshalyn. It has been for a while. I like the Nerf idea. How do you intend to develop it, and how will it develop as for viewing and using it? Will it come to OSM? Yeah, we also get excited with Nerf release. So at the moment, it's a beta. You can visualize generated Nerf on the Mapillary web app, and we bring also viewing. Basically, like you can have video browser. You can pan around the Nerf, and at the moment, like we are exploring like what are the some use cases. Now they're at the phase of like they look cool, but what problem they are solving, we are not sure yet. We are exploring. When it comes to will it come to OSM? I mean, hopefully, but I don't know what's the right way to tie, nerves or 3D model to OSM. I can imagine like if any OSM based app would take Mapillary nerve for certain landmarks. Whenever like people will search the landmark on OSM based app, they can show it. There might be like some cool ideas, but at the moment we are just exploring. Right.
Real quick on OSM, I mean, all of the editors allow viewing of mapillary images and feature detections, not the nerfs, but the images themselves.
Yeah, I think someone is raising the question, raising the hand. Chad, can you please give access? Maybe we can have the live questions as well.
Yes, hello, Saeed.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. Um, in the past, I captured several images and I submit them to have a nerve model generated, but they were never fake. I did it twice. I took image around historical monument in Yaoundé. Uh, I think that I talked to you about that. I did it first, but they were never generous. I want to know what's the matter. How how is that? What happened? Please, can you tell me?
Thanks for the question. If I understand right, so I think you submitted a nerve in Yaoundé, and then why my nerve is not published. So basically, like we have a pipeline which generate nerves, and regular Mapillary captures are not all nerfable, and we have way of like filtering what sequences are nerfable, and probably like your images didn't go through this filtering. I strongly recommend you to check out our capture instruction because nerf generation requires more overlapping than only 3D reconstruction with the traditional photogrammetry. Therefore, it may not go through our nerf generation pipeline. But yeah, please reach out to support, and Marcy and I can follow up. Where is your nerf at the moment? Why it's not? What's the main issue with the generation? All right, thanks for the question. Yeah, there is one more question about nerf. Then after we can move on to other licensing related question. Can the nerf only use 300 images, 360 images, or also regular images? You can use either 360 images or regular images. There is no differentiation. Uh, there is only certain guideline you need to follow when it comes to like nerf collection. I will share the capture guideline for nerves. There should be like more overlap, and then it should be more kind of like homogeneously you need to cover and then do some 8 figures around the object you are capturing. I capture regions like one of the fountain in Regent's Park and one of the arch, Wellington Arch in London, only my iPhone and Mapillary app. It turned out pretty nice. So you can do either 360 image or regular image.
I just posted instructions in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you, chat.
Mm-hmm.
We are coming to end, but I want to answer the licensing question around Mapillary data. So the attendee is asking, like, how do you envision companies using the Mapillary data given the share alike license? Are there other license options available for data use like CDLA permissive 2.0? So basically, like Mapillary license is you can use Mapillary data for commercial purposes. So uh, I can share term of use for the commercial purposes. The imagery is share alike, but Mapillary map data has different term of use. But it can be definitely used for commercial purposes. I'm just sharing the term of use here. And if you go to term of use and then search commercial, yeah, if you go section 12, you can see all the terms for using Mapillary generated data for commercial purposes. Right. Yeah, I think we can get the last question and then we can wrap up shortly. The question OSM, mainly just a licensing question. They should be licensed OSM permission. I think that was the comment for the nerve, how nerves can come to OSM. Yes, exactly. ODBL is quite an interesting license. So then whatever needs to go to OSM should be compatible with the ODBL. All right. I believe we answered most of the questions. Yeah, we can wrap it up here. Any other last thoughts from Ryan, Chad, Marcy?
Do it. That's what I gotta say. Go out there and start capturing. It's fun. We enjoy it here.
Take a little inspiration from Ryan. Yeah,
That's right.
He did it.
Yeah. Oh, and take batteries too. You'll need batteries. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so
right.
much, everyone. Thanks, Ryan, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Chad and Marcy are putting this together, and see you next time.
All right.
Cheers,
Thanks, everyone.
everyone.
Cheers.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
New Year.